Hello everybody, Spirit of Pontoon here, and in this video I will be reviewing the Gemmy animated Three Stooges Golf Academy. Still no tripod, so the camera is a bit shaky. That's not tall enough. But back to the actual item itself. I got this in a lot with the animated pop culture Dean Martin a few weeks ago, and you may recall me like teasing at it, and this is one of the two items that came in a lot. The other one, of course, being Dean Martin. I'll make a review of him at some point. And I got them for about $20 some, which for one of them is a great price, but for both of them is, I mean, like, that's a really good price. I do not have the box for him, but I'm fine with that. And they are in rather good condition. The base is a little dirty. There are a few scuffs on the face, and the biggest part, of course, is that Larry is missing the front half of his golf club. But let's go right into the cosmetics of them. So it's the Three Stooges, obviously. Ow, I kicked something. Mo, Curly, and Larry, and it is a golf scene. So we'll start with, they're all dressed in golf-y clothes. I mean, not like polos or anything, but close enough. This is the hat version, and all their clothes are like separate pieces, which is neat. I mean, you can't take them off, obviously, but they're not all one big piece of clothing. I do have shoes at the bottom, different shoes for all three, which is good detail. The button is a golf ball. You can see the plaque, Stooges Golf Academy. All three of them have golf clubs. Two of them actually interact, which would be Curly's golf club, which hits those two, and Mo's, which hits Curly. And Larry, as I said before, only has half of the golf club. On the back, we can see the adapter jack. I also don't have the included adapter, but I'm okay with that. And the bag of a pail of golf balls. So really good detail on this item, considering they all have different clothes, they're all different pieces. It's a colorful item too, and it's much bigger than I thought it was. So something that is interesting about this Three Stooges is that it is the levered version. Yes, that is correct. If you don't know anything about the Three Stooges, you're probably like, what the heck is he talking about? Well, there are three different versions of the Three Stooges. There's the version without the hats. There's the version which is the most common, which is with hats with clicker arms in Curly, and this version, which is the levered version. And the levered version, the arms are not posable. Like, you could put them up and they'll fall down, which is good, because during his activation, that means his arms won't fall over. And these levered versions are actually harder to find. I had no idea it was a levered version when I bought it, but let's see if I can show you. This is the levered version and not the clicker version. It doesn't have the posable piece on it. So this is the harder to find version. And let's now working condition. He works flawlessly, really. I should say. When I first bought it, Curly did not turn, and that was the immediate problem right off the bat. He had a split 8-tooth gear in his rotating mech, and these are a pain to fix. If you want to fix one of these, you have to get into the rotating mech, and his motor is here, and there's no screws in here. This is all it's all molded together. So I had to replace the gear, and it was an 8-tooth gear. I don't have any 8-tooth gears, so I put a 9-tooth gear on him, and I think it actually works better than some of the ones I've seen on YouTube. With the 9-tooth gear, it stays in the middle most of the time. So that might be something to consider. If you ever need to repair one of these, try a 9-tooth gear on him instead of an 8-tooth gear. But you can see in some places, if you pull up the clothing, you can see a little bit of the hot glue right there. Because what I did was I removed the staples, which pulled out the mech slightly, and then I went down and cut the entire I cut a big opening in the plastic. That way I could actually get to the motor. And then when I did that, the wires, of course, came off of the motor, so I had to resolder those. But the problem was the wires in there wasn't enough for me to resolder, so I had to solder other wires onto the existing wires and then solder the full wire back onto the motor. And that also did burn some of the plastic, but you can't see it because the pants cover it up. Now Larry, I also went and checked him, and the gear in his arm was starting to split. It wasn't fully split, but it was starting to split. And I also don't have the right gear for him. He has a 9-tooth gear, but it's not the full size gear. It's like half the size, and it's a bit wider. So what I did was actually I put another regular 9-tooth gear in him, and it still works. You just can't push the motor in all the way. Like, you'll notice that I don't even have the motor screw in for him, because if I put that screw in, there's so much pressure that it won't turn. So it's in there, but the motor is out just a little bit more than normal so that I can actually turn. And then his head fell off. Yeah, you're probably like, what? But there's a plastic piece, like a little rod in there, and it fell off. So I had to take the head off, re-glue the plastic piece, and reattach the head. And then I glued his golf club in, which I'm pretty sure came loose because it's wiggling around a lot right now. So those were all the repairs I had to do on him, but they now work perfectly. I'm very happy with how the repairs turned out on this, especially considering it was a really faulty item. I was lucky I didn't have to do any crazy extra repairs. So without further ado, I'm going to demonstrate him for you. He runs off 4 AA batteries, and there's a ton of animation on it, which is also a reason why it's kind of faulty. But without further ado, here we go. And there we have it. As you probably saw, he stayed in the middle for the most part. There were a few times when he was off to the side, which is weird because he actually, in all honesty, he really doesn't do that often. And near the end, the only thing I noticed is that the sounds at the very end when Mo and Larry are hitting him are not synchronized whatsoever. But that might be the case on all of them, or it might just be a glitch on mine or something. I'll have to double check. But to get a closer view of them now. So if you hear any noise in the background, there's a vacuum. So yeah, that's about it for this review. I haven't made any of these in a while, and you can probably tell because my whole review formula doesn't sound right. And by formula, I mean like the terms of like what order I do stuff in. It didn't really sound right when I was recording it, at least. And still no tripod, of course. But I know this was requested, so that's why it is being published now as the next video. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. So here's a clip of them during the repair. I actually found it easier. Like, I took off the base and took the screws out of Curly's feet. But I found it easier to actually remove the staples that were here. That way you can have more access to it. And I've cut this down here so I can get to the motor and replace that gear. Oh, it's interesting, but it's coming along well. Hopefully everything still works by the time I'm done. I still have yet to probably check his arm because I'm not sure it's coming up all the way and not fast enough. So this is a very interesting repair. I'm not really sure why I took the screws out of the feet. I think it's easier if I do this. Even though I've heard that you can pull them up, but I think it's easier if I do this. But very interesting repair. It's tricky, which is why I'm not making a full video of it, because I have no idea what I'm doing with these guys.